Hey guys, welcome to TST Garage. I'm Bart, and today in this video, I'll be showing you how to install the TST Industries Brake Light Modulator on your bike. Now, a brake light modulator, sometimes called a strobe, sometimes called a brake light flasher, what it does is basically enables you to install some electronics on your bike so that when you press your brakes, the brake light flashes in some kind of pattern and alerts the drivers behind you that you will be stopping. Our particular brake light modulator comes pre-wired to a plug that interfaces with a sub harness that we provide specific to your bike model that enables plug and play functionality with your bike. So that means that the installation is really fast and you can do it yourself. Now, the electronics inside, we do have the ability for you to program this unit to 3 different functions and then subsequently adjust the rate of the effect to your liking. Our first programmable mode is Strobe Alert. This mode will produce 9 flashes and then stay solid for the duration of the brake engagement. Second one is Intermittent Pulsar. Each cycle will flash 10 times and then pause, and then these cycles will repeat for the duration of the brake engagement. The last available option is Pulsar, and this one just basically provides continuous flashing for the duration of the brake engagement. Now we will show you how to install this. It's really simple. And then after the installation chunk, I will show you in detail how to get inside here, how to program the different modes, and how to alter the rate of those different modes. We did think about the safety of such devices during the design phase. So we decided to design this in a way that it will be a pass-through component. In case you experience a failure on board here, it will just pass through your normal brake function, which means you press your brake light lights up, there's just no effect. In case you do experience that failure, we do offer a warranty, so we have guys standing by in our support department that will take your call, email, Facebook message, whatever, and we'll get you replaced. And that's pretty much it. I'm really excited to show you guys just how easy this is to put on and configure. So let's get started. For our presentation here today, we have a pretty stock XR150 with the exception of the different signaling and the replacement of the OEM taillight with the TST Industries integrated taillight. Now, whether you're using the TST taillight or the stock, the actual connection will be made via the vehicle specific harness that we provide with the unit. The only difference is that this is an LED light source and this is, the OEM is an incandescent light source. The incandescent will have a slower reacting light bulb in here. This one, no problem. You'll be able to adjust just about any rate of effect into this taillight. This one, you'll have to minimize the speed and possibly make it go a little bit slower because the incandescent light bulb filament reacts slower to the current applied. So let's get into the bike and start the installation flow, and we'll demonstrate all this a little bit later. I'm gonna grab a 10mm socket, remove this screw here. Once that clears out, there are 2 friction fasteners in these 2 locations that need to be disengaged perpendicular to the center plane of the bike. And then this entire panel will come off. Here are the friction fasteners that fit into the rubber grommets here. Pop them out and the panel's gone. Repeat the procedure on the left side. Now we'll need to take off the seat. This is done by the removal of 2 fasteners, one in this location here. In addition, a shoulder washer comes off, and then matching location on the left side. At this point, the seat will be swooped backwards and upward to disengage the locking geometry. And at this point, we'll need to hop up top and remove some fasteners here. At this point, we will be removing these 4 10mm head fasteners. Please notice these have a flange and a shoulder. The ones in the rear are just straight M6 screws. There are captive sleeve washers here, but they remain in place with friction. So if this doesn't come out on you, no worries. If it does, make sure you press it back in. All right, now I'm gonna change to a 12mm socket, pull out these two. And in addition, I'm going to loosen this one and its matching fastener on the left side. I'm going to take the luggage rack, bring it up and around. I'm going to tighten this screw down just for safekeeping here. All right, now it'll be necessary to take off the tail top fairing. When this is removed, it typically strips off these fasteners here. Let's try to not strip them off. So I will take the entire taillight and shroud assembly and move it up and down so that extraction is possible here. That comes off clean, and I did not dislodge these fasteners. If you do happen to dislodge them, please realize that there are sleeves, steel sleeves in here. They look like this. And if this were to come apart on you, the means of reassembly is this clip fastener has the threaded portion on the bottom, through hole on the top, and the sleeve goes right in between everything like so. All right, that's intact, no big deal. Our main connector for the taillight is located within this boot. I'm going to slip the boot off after removing the cable management clip and find the connector. Now, if you have the TST Industries taillight, it'll look like this. It's the same connector as your Honda OEM connector, except the wiring will look a little different, but it's the same procedure. We will undo this connector and then plug it through. Plug it through the harness that is supplied with your brake light modulator from TST Industries. And now you've completed this circuit with the addition of our brake light modulator. This gets plugged in, and now power up the bike and let's give it a test. Okay. So I have function of brake light modulator. I just wanted to show you guys the difference when you have the incandescent light plugged in, how much slower it actually reacts. So, as you can see, it's a little bit smudged, what I like to call it. It does not have a very positive on and off cycle. It sort of changes brightness in a smudgy kind of way. So I do like LED source taillights a lot better. All right, I'm gonna power this down. And now we need to figure out where to put the body of our modulator. Now, I do want to stress the importance of keeping the grommet a little bit towards the down direction. So anywhere you choose to locate it, we are looking to have the cap a little bit higher than the grommet. This prevents any moisture from possibly entering back into the capsule, and it's easy enough to configure, so no big deal. I am liking this location here. This looks good, and it'll be self-captive. We can tie the modulator body off to some of the wiring in here. Modulator does ship with 2 of these cable ties. I think I'll only be using 1. The body of the modulator is prepped to receive one of these, with this channel here being purposely designed into the capsule so that this is where you mount it. Before you use the wire tie to tie it off, I encourage you to watch the rest of this video so you can be aware of how this unit is programmed. And that way you can program it and configure it to your liking before you tie it down, and subsequently would have to remove the cable tie in order to make the choices inside and program it. So please watch the rest of the video and then back up to this for the rest of the procedure. The rest of the procedure basically looks like the reverse order of disassembly. Just need to make sure to tuck away any of the bulk so that our tail does not stick up and away from this assembly and subsequently push this assembly down. So we have a pocket here and a pocket here that would work really well in the distribution of the bulk. Okay, I think this will work really well. Let's bring the tail back into position. We will need to tab this feature in through here. And that is done by getting this as far as it'll go down and then pushing down on the taillight assembly. That will target this tab feature through. Now we can judge if we did well with our bulk distribution, and it looks like we did. So I'm going to start replacing some of the fasteners here. This is the easiest to start with. I like to engage the shoulder on these screws into the fairing before I use any tools. All right, that's in place for us. Let's bring the rack back. Sometimes this rubber boot will get in between these mounting locations. The rubber is clear from in between these mounts. I'm going to start engaging these screws. I'm going to help myself with the alignment by flexing the whole section that carries the taillight. Once my screw bites into the thread, I'm going to then follow up with a tool. Right now I'm still searching for that thread engagement. All right, I have all of my fasteners here threaded up. The sequence is going to be these two screws, then these two, then these two, and then we'll tighten these guys. So the side screws do have a nut from the inside. It's also 12 millimeter. I'm gonna hold the nut with an open-ended wrench and then tighten it down. Now we'll bring the seat back. We will need to interference fit these two hooks into these windows. These locations will have to fit around the receiving holes here and here. And then this window tabs in on this tab here. For mode selection and rate adjustment, we will need to get inside this capsule to access the electronics. These two Phillips head screws will need to be removed. What I like to do is unscrew them until they disengage from the receiving threads and leave them in the cap. Otherwise, it's pretty easy to lose them. If we pull them off with the cap, they are self-captive. All right, now we'll identify the parts here. This button is the mode selector, and this potentiometer is your rate adjuster. Clockwise is faster, counterclockwise is slower. Let's first do our selection of modes. With the brake pressed, press the button once to toggle to the next available program. Now the brake does have to be pressed so that the unit powers up, otherwise you won't be able to make the selection. If you find that you've pressed the button but the selection has not been changed, just do it again with the brake pressed. So So now we will go on to the next program, press the brake once more, press the button once, and now you're in the next mode. Now we've switched twice, so pressing it one more time will return to the original mode that your unit arrived in. Now for rate adjustment, we'll be using the potentiometer. With the brake pressed, we can turn it clockwise to make it go faster, counterclockwise to decrease the rate. Now in brake alert, you will only have 9 flashes to make your adjustment, and then it'll stay solid. This one doesn't actually lend itself to really fast flashing at the top of the range. Bottom of the range is unusable, so I like to set it somewhere towards 3/4 to maybe 80% clockwise, and that does it for me. Now if we change to the next one, this one is the pulsar, and this one just keeps on flashing, so I like to have it going pretty fast here. Choice is really up to you. If you want to explore the next mode, we have the intermittent pulsar. This one to me belongs somewhere close to the top of the range, makes it the most visible. But again, freedom means choice. The decision is ultimately up to you. Once you're done with your adjustment and you're where you want to be with all your modes and rates, replace the cap, turn the screws back in, and it really is just that simple. Replace your brake light modulator in the space that you decided to keep it, and you're good to go.